Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Yasha Tay, the queen of Fix Your Crown Again podcast, and I would like to welcome you to part one of a four-part series talking about love. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am Yasha Tay, the queen of Fix Your Crown Again podcast, where my mission is to empower my kings and queens by sharing pearls of wisdom, being transparent, and living on purpose. My mission is to empower people to love, love, love while letting go of the hurts and pains of yesterday so that we can be restored. One might ask who's new to my channel, what is this series all about? Love. Love is such a just a, minute word. People kind of toss it around however is comfortable for them. Well, for me, this four-part series was birthed out of the aftermath of dating, correction, after the aftermath of being in a situationship with a narcissistic person. Prior to being in this season of my life, I've never really heard of a narcissistic person, a narcissist. But you know what? I was chosen. That's how we change the narrative. I was chosen to experience this because I understand that my mission on this podcast and my mission in life is to share pearls of wisdom so that I can empower my kings and queens. So, this series is going to talk about the importance of love. This is not a series to glorify the narcissist, but I do want you to be aware of some of their characteristics so that when you're out and about and you're meeting people and you're praying and you're asking God for the spirit of discernment, they sometimes come across as very quiet, meek, humble people that oftentimes self criticize themselves, that project this thing about life where someone's always done them wrong, they've always been the best person that they could be, and because of life someone's done them wrong. And that was very, very much so in the situation ship that I was in. I could definitely identify with those characteristics. I can also identify with the characteristic of them being very passive aggressive. He wasn't very verbally demanding, but it was things that he would do, things that he would say that was very passive aggressive. Also, they study you. They study you as a person. They study your heart. They study to see, your traits. Are you a rescuer? Are you someone who likes to help people? And so in this series, I would definitely share. It's not easy, but I understand that my life is not for me. I understand that what God has called me to is to help people by being transparent. And so because I was chosen, that because I went through this, I feel like on the other side, I want to make sure that I am a better person than than the person I was prior to this experience. And I want to make sure that I help and empower and inspire my kings and queens. That if you come in contact with someone with these characteristics, that you pray. You ask God to give you the spirit of discernment. Um, People will study you. And it's sad because when I thought I was having a conversation with a friend or with someone I was getting to know, I was actually given the enemy the ammunition to then use against me and what would be I would consider war. So on today, let's talk about the love of God though. Let's talk about what is it? And it's been a in the series, I'm realizing that I had to dig deep to find out what was it about me? What is it about you that attracts these type of people? And the hardest thing for me was to say, girl, you are intelligent, you have degrees, like you pray, you go to church, but how did I miss it? And it's not that I necessarily missed it. It fed the thing in me that I enjoy. I am a nurturer. I'm a fixer. I believe in helping people get to another level in life. I believe in pouring into people. So this person took the very fibers of who God had made me to be. I'm the type of person that I trust you until you give me a reason not to. So they took the very fibers of who I was and they used it for their advantage. They used it. However, nevertheless, I am grateful to God that in the midst of all of this, that I still am able to walk with my head up high. not in an arrogant or a boastful way, but to walk because I know that my God loves me. I know now that I don't need to be, and never did I even have to be validated by someone else, but it felt good to be needed. It felt good to assist someone and uplifting them and helping them get to the next level in their career. And so I often share this in my story that the person that I helped came to me with a sad story, which was an untruth. Um, and I said, well, they didn't ask me for their help, but they studied me. And they knew that I was the type of person that would want to be that rescuer and would want to extend that help and extend that, that ladder, that next step on that ladder to help them get to where they needed to get to. But I can recall God telling me to share this with this person. And I said to him, I said, I am willing to help you through this season of your life with no obligations, no strings attached. I said, if you happen to find the woman of your life tomorrow, I will bid you well. And that person took those words, and when it was convenient for them, they were very persistent with being in a relationship with me and being in a relationship with me and being in a relationship, even though I said no and I said no. And the third time I recall, because this is definitely a platform to be transparent, I recall in my spirit, and the spirit of the Lord was like, why do you keep saying no? And I said that I was afraid to love. I had been through 2 divorces, been through relationships. I was afraid to love. I was afraid to love. And it's not that I was seeking it, I was just afraid. And I heard the Lord say, I need you to trust me to love. And at that time, guys, I thought that I was hearing God say, trust him to love this person. But in hindsight, I now believe that God was saying, I need you to trust me to love. Let me be your God. Let your faith be in me, because God does not give us the spirit of fear. He does not give us the spirit of fear. Fear comes from a place of the enemy, because the enemy knows that if he can get us fearful, he can get us anxious, and he can get us off track from what God's word says. And on today, I want to back my series with scripture. I love the Message version of the Bible. There's all different versions, King James. For me, the Message version seems to knock me upside the head a whole lot better than other versions. And so it says First Corinthians 13:4, love is patient, it is kind, it does not boast, and it is not proud. So love is patient, is kind, it does not boast, and it is not pride. Series 1. Love is patient. Love is kind, it does not boast, and it's not proud. I never was the type of person who lacked love for myself. I always knew my worth, my value. I always understood how much God loved me. I always understood that I was worthy of being loved. I always understood, I knew exactly what I wanted. I didn't have time for games. I didn't have time for someone who I wasn't dating just to be dating anyone. It wasn't a mystery. I made it very clear that I was not dating just to date. I was dating for the purpose to get married. However, like I said previously, this person took information that I gave them and made a conscious decision to use it to wage war against me. And so I say that to say this. I was able to say that through 2 marriages, this person that I was in this situationship, I had more feelings for them than my 2 previous husbands. And I understand now in the hindsight that the reason why I thought I had more love for him, because he gave me everything that he knew I wanted, everything that he knew that I felt like I deserved. Because you have some people that they come and they find narcissistic persons, whether it's male or female. I'm sorry, whether it's male or female, they tend to attach themselves to people who either have a low self-esteem or someone who is very confident in who they are. And for me, I was very confident in who I was and what I wanted. And I'm also very patient and I'm also very understanding. And so as I was in this situationship with this individual, love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast. And so, in the midst of me riding this wave of him through his supposedly difficult career that required a lot, um, he gave me words. When we talked, I felt like he really understood me. He was the first man that I felt like really, really listened to me. We talked about a future together. We talked about living life together. We talked about hopes and dreams together. But all the while, he was putting on a performance. Because what narcissistic people do, they're very self centered and they're very self goal oriented. And it's at the expense of someone else, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whatever it is, they are out to achieve the task and the goal that is a benefit for them at the expense of someone else. And it's not how pure hearted I was with my willingness to help this person or my willingness to encourage them, because they come across as having like, oh, low self-esteem. Oh, I don't want to be anyone's regret. I don't want you to forget about me. But it's like now I understand the code in which this individual talked in. And so I want you to be careful when you meet someone and they're talking about, oh, I don't want to be anyone's regret. I don't want you to forget about me. I want you to love me and never leave me and grow old with me. That is the exact opposite of what they actually mean. It's the exact opposite of what they exactly mean. And I'm not saying go out there and put everyone under a magnifying glass, but what I am saying is that God has given me this platform and this podcast and a mission and a purpose and an assignment that I know that what I've been through is not just for me. It is bigger than me. It's easy for me to take cute pictures on Facebook, Instagram, to, project this life of everything's being perfect and peachy, but that's not the reality of my life. That's not going to help anyone overcome the aftermaths of being in a narcissistic relationship, or even some just friendships where someone has hurt you, where someone's let you down, where someone's disappointed you. And we often say it's not our fault. No, it's not totally our fault, but we play a part. It's a hard truth. I had to admit it. I played a part in it. I played a part because I desire to be someone who is a helper. I'm a nurse, I'm a mother, I'm a soldier. And in my nature, it is my nature to help. It is my nature to empower and inspire other people. It's my nature to see what I can do to help someone else along the way. But there are some people that have broken ladders, that their ladder needs to stay broken. Because when you fill in that ladder or that step for them, it is at the expense of who you are as a person. It is at the expense of who you are trying to strive to be. And I recall this person telling me, I met them at church. The truth be told, I met him at church in uniform, portraying a very confident person. But I remember him saying, I would never have approached you. And to me, that was kind of weird. I said, why would he approach me? But it's because I went to him one day and had a question, and we had a conversation. And I believe that the reason why he was never going to approach me was because God had already told him that she's off limits. He knew that the way, the aura He knew the fragrance of God was on me. But when I was just being who I was, the nice, too nice person, just having a conversation, he saw an opportunity to penetrate. Either he saw the opportunity or God allowed me to go into the enemy's camp. Because, see, on this podcast, we're changing the narratives. We're not giving the enemy the power or the authority of anything. It was a negative experience. It did not feel good. But you know what? It's for God's glory, not even mine. It's for God's glory. And so, not to hold you too long on this first series, but this is part one of a 4-part series that talks about love, talking about identifying the different characteristics and the things to look out for when you are dating people, when you're getting to know people. Just sit back and watch. Be quiet. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and be quiet and just look and listen. Listen to the things that they say. Pay attention. Ask God to give you revelation concerning where people's hearts are. One of my favorite prayers is, God, show me the heart of those that are around me, not so that I can confront them, but I know how to handle them. That has been a powerful prayer. But I also tell you, a prayer that powerful, and when he shows you people's heart, when you have done nothing but been the best, when you've done nothing but try to be the best for people and their intentions are not authentic, it hurts. And it takes a lot to know a thing and to still just move in silence. To just move in silence. But on this part one of a 4-part series of love, love is not boastful, love is not proud, love is patient. Don't stop loving you just because someone has disappointed you, someone's let you down, someone is delusional. It's a mental illness. These people are oftentimes impulsive liars. I look back over our situationship, and from the day this man opened his mouth, he was an impulsive liar, lying for no reason. But it is the demonic entities that they yield to, lying for no reason. It's sad. It's really sad. But to my kings and my queens, listen to this podcast, share it with others. There may be someone that may be in the midst of this type of situation. That word gaslighting, I do not like that word one bit, but let me tell you something, it is a real thing. And it is intertwined with manipulation, it's intertwined with deception, it's intertwined with the enemy wanting you to be confused. Again, this platform, my mission is to share pearls of wisdom, to be transparent, to restore my kings and queens. This is not an easy series because it opens up a lot of wounds. It opened up the core of what I experienced, the aftermath of being with someone who was delusional. But to God be the glory. But to God be the glory. But unto God be the glory. It is your girl, y'all should say, the queen of Fix Your Crown Again podcast. I ask that you subscribe to this channel, share it with 5 friends. Let's get the awareness out. And let's get people healed so they can be restored. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time, bye-bye.